All right, we're ready to get started. This is for PayPal Complete Payments, or as we lovingly call it, the PPCP stack. This stack is specially designed to enable self-service for our small businesses and partners. So we will talk to you about the fundamentals of what that integration looks like for our developers who are seeking to self-service their way through the Fastlane integration. So a lot of ground was covered in the previous sessions, and what I wanted to do is to start this session just covering the highlights that we went through in the morning, in JK's session, and various other leadership sessions. So remember, as we bring in Fastlane into the checkout experience for our merchants, we expect to see our guests completing checkout 32% faster. And in fact, the good part about checkout is it doesn't even take 2 minutes for a guest to complete their entire checkout experience and flow. In addition, of course, we talked about the 80% conversion uplift that we expect to see. And of course, a frictionless sign up for any buyer who may not have a profile with us. So what we see is 35% completion rate for buyers who may not have a Fastlane profile, but once they go through the flow, they'll complete it at least 35% of the time, making a checkout experience even more frictionless the next time they have a guest checkout experience with a merchant. So keeping all of that in mind, let's quickly review what this experience looks like from the perspective of the buyer. And we're going through this because as developers, we care deeply about how the checkout experience or how the optimized checkout flow looks like on our merchant stack. So that's the reason. Let's just go through what this might look like for somebody who's a first-time buyer in the system. So essentially, if you remember what JK talked about, when the checkout screen comes along, we'll see the guest checkout option. The buyer puts in their email identifier. And remember, there are multiple modules that we will talk about that are integrated in order to enable this. So once the email is entered, there is a recognition of the profile that happens. We have the financial instrument information that is showcased up top, as well as an ability to save your profile through a single toggle. So that's how easy it is to create a profile with us. In addition, shipping options are captured, and you see the final checkout flow again in less than 2 minutes. So this is what a buyer is going to experience the first time they check out with us. And then what happens when a buyer comes back to us? This is the checkout flow that they will experience upon returning, which is, again, very optimized. So again, we start with the checkout flow. You're seeing the guest checkout button right there. And this time, the system will just simply ask you to confirm through a password or a token or a code that is sent to your phone number. From there, obviously, the buyer is identified because remember, we have a profile created for Fastlane for them, and we will see that richly displayed through autofill in the next screen, and voila, you're done with the checkout again. So you saw the one-time as well as a repeat buyer experience and how seamless and frictionless that is. And that's what we'll look to build today in this session. Okay, so what is it that we would need to do in order to enable this checkout experience? It's fairly simple, actually. What we do is ensure that the PayPal checkout and the guest checkout options are available in the checkout experience. We want to make sure that the email identifier flow is set up correctly, and we'll talk about that. Remember, there were 4 modules that our previous guest, Sunny Patel, talked about, so we'll cover that again. But essentially, your identity, your profile, and your payment components will need to be set up in order to make this happen. And once you integrate those components, we'll be able to see all of that identity, payment component, and profile information show up on your checkout flow. And essentially, you will either go through an opt-in flow if you're a first-time buyer with us, or a repeat checkout flow if you're coming back again to the system. So that's the fundamental of what we're bringing forth. Quite simple, actually, if you think about in terms of a checkout experience, how easy it is to create the step-by-step checkout flow for the buyer. Okay, so how do we assemble all of this wonderful experience together for our developers? That's the crux of the session today. So what we're going to do, I'm going to call upon my colleague Sam in just a second to talk and walk you through this entire integration studio. So this is a concept that we have launched for all of our top integrations, and Fastlane gets this first-class treatment that is very developer-centric. And the reason why we built it in this way, and we look forward to your feedback, actually. I know a lot of you have used it already and are itching to give us feedback, so please work with it, tell us like how we can improve it. But there's at least 7 or 8 things that we have enabled to make sure developers have the most frictionless integration experience with us. We've brought not only the discovery, the integration, but the testing experience in one studio so that you can have an exciting way to integrate. We're hoping it shouldn't take you too long to do a direct integration with us, so please join the hands-on coding sessions to try this out today itself. But essentially, it's just 5 steps to integrate. There is work that you would have to do on the client side. There's work that we would have to enable a little bit on the server side as well. We are providing you with a with a pre-built application, a reference application that is available to you via our public GitHub repository. As well as I know a lot of developers here use code spaces, so we've kept that in mind. If you need a virtual IDE, you can get that with one click using code spaces. So check that out if you haven't done that before. In addition, before you integrate, you'll be able to see that interactive checkout flow. Everything that we went through, we've made sure we've brought it into the studio as well so that you don't have to go hunting for what the merchant experience might look like. In addition, I think early in the morning, if you remember, we talked about 2 ways that you can set up the payment components. One is a quick start, a pre-built approach where we do the heavy lifting for you. And then the other one is you can go ahead and do a custom checkout card flow yourself. So we are going to talk about that as well. In addition, Sandbox is extremely critical. We want to make sure that you have the right testing in place before you take this checkout experience live. So there's interaction that we've built for that as well. And then, of course, for any developer who's working with anything on the server side, you absolutely need to see what's happening with your error logs, what's happening with your call logs on the API side. So we've built that in for you as well. And last but not the least, you will see a ton of our colleagues wearing something called a legacy band today. We know a lot of our merchants currently may be on a legacy version, potentially maybe a SOAP implementation or an Express Checkout implementation with us. We want to make sure that we offer the latest and the best Fastlane checkout experience to you via our latest integrations. So please talk to us about how we can get you on the latest and the greatest. And there's some effort involved there, but we've tried to make this experience as seamless for you as possible, and we're here to help. So please talk to us how you want to go ahead and adopt, whether it'll be a brand new integration with us or it's going to be an upgrade integration with us. So, okay, so without further ado, I'm going to call upon Sam, my partner in crime on this one, to take us through the demo experience for Fastlane.
Thanks,
Marina. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. All right, so before I get into showing this, I'm gonna first introduce myself. So I am Sam Al-Faris, and I lead the PPCP engineering team and the merchant platform engineering team as well. When we first designed Fastlane, our developer experience team had a clear mission to create a streamlined and user-friendly integration experience. So we can simplify the process for developers. We don't want them to go through a lot of issues and challenges during that process. So we basically had to thought about what are the challenges that developers run into during integrating like a new payment service or updating an existing payment integration. And as we looking into that, so we have thought about like what is that most common friction that you would run into, which is mostly around the need to switch between multiple screens or windows in order to complete that process. So we created the developer experience to provide you with automated flows that simplify that integration experience for you. And also at the same time, we wanted to provide you with ways where you can, as Morada mentioned, with a few clicks, you would be able to have an up and running integration test example so you can see it. So on the screen here, I have the PayPal Developer Studio. So you can access this by going to developers.paypal.com, and from there, you will have those two options here. So just go to Integrate Fastlane, and it will take you through this experience. And here we have the download the code sample, which is you can just get the actual code downloaded in your machine and use it, or go through the opening code spaces. And if you click on the opening code spaces, it will basically create an environment for you. And in this environment, we will provide you with options to pick the programming language that you want. So we have 4 programming languages already available for you to pick one of them. And you only have to enter your client ID and client secrets, which is available on your developer dashboards. And I will show you how to get that in a second. And after that, it will build the application, the environment for you. It will show you the README file, which would show you also the instruction to run the project, which simply just call npm install to build your project. I will walk you through the experience. And once that is done, it will open the port for you, which is port 8080, to run the actual project. So once that is done, you go to the ports and you click on the application. And here, you will see an up and running Fastlane experience here. This is like if you try a registered user, go through that process, click and check out, and it will ask you for OTP. And for simplicity, we just added the option to just enter once on sandbox experience or sandbox machines or testing environments, and we'll get you through that process right away. So I will pause here. I hope that is easy. I see this as a developer like really easy for me to get it done. It's just a few clicks and you would have an up and running machine with the code for you. And Codespaces is really a very powerful tool. We leverage it, and you can just, I think every developer has a GitHub account, so you don't need any setup to get there. So, and this is like just part of the experience. Here you get the same thing where you can update your shipping code or payment as well. And once you complete the checkout, you get a confirmation code with the order number as well. So back to the studio. Also, we have created an interactive experience. So if you go through this, like when you scroll down to different sections, it will highlight that to you, like exactly on the code panel or the preview area. You can switch between the flexible mode or quick start mode. And you can also enable the styling components, which would give you a boilerplate where you can make changes to your design. And if you want to customize the experience for your own goods, you can do that as well. So we also, you can do whatever customization you want. And also, you can decide on how do you want to make the calls as well. So either capture or authorize. So if you don't know this, the difference between capture and authorize. Authorize is basically to check that the funding instrument has the fund in it and it's valid. And the capture method is really to get the actual fund and complete the transactions. So you can do all of that on the studio experience itself. And also you can expand it. The same language options appear here as well. And you can have side-to-side between the preview section and also the code and see the changes as you go through them. And here also, I just want to show you how to go through sign up experience. The same thing, it's like an interactive component. So you can just use that preview. You can submit and register like a user data. We also created test card for you here. So once you get to the payment section, you can use those test card examples. You fill just the expiration date and the CVV codes and name. And then you only have to consent for the checkout experience, similar to what you have on the web and the same thing that you have seen before. And once that process is done, it will create a request to our server and complete the process. So I want to show you this one, and this is one of my favorite features there too. So we also created this test panel here. So the moment that we made that request, you can come here and see the actual object that we sent in our request and what came back from the response as well. So you can look into those, and if you want to debug, or this is really for debugging purposes or troubleshooting, if you want to understand exactly what's going on, you can go through that. Now, last but not least, like all of that, all of that experience was on logged out experience. Now, if you log into the Developer Studio, here's what you will find. So let's go through it. So now, if you look at the top of the screen, you have a list of applications right there. So those are your test applications. So if you created 3, 4 different applications, you will find all of them there. What I really like about this feature, which it enables you to toggle to different apps, and as you do that, it will give you the client secret and the client ID for that specific application. So you don't have to go to a different dashboard or a different place to pick that. It's all exist in one experience. And again, like we want to reduce the switches between the applications. And here, when you go back to the test panel with this capability, now you can see that we have test accounts. So if you created multiple test accounts to test different scenarios in your code, you can come here always and see those different accounts and switch between them. And also, if you go here now, we also added the API history, which gives you the ability to look into the history of calls that we have made from before, and also show you the what's success and what's failure, and you can also do the same thing to understand the request response and all of that. So that's mainly like the main developer experience that I want to share with you, and the integration as well. So I hope that will give you the courage, and will encourage you to go and try it out. We really want to hear your feedback and understand what you think about the experience itself. If you have any concerns or issues, I have Ashish here, and Sorat, and the team is sitting here. So if you have questions, please ask them, and also you can find me afterward and we can talk. And with that, I want to give it to Drew to come in. And Drew, basically, he's one of our developer champions, and he went through that integration experience himself. So he will share more and talk more about his experience and with all of you. Thank you so much. Thanks.
Hello, I'm Drew Angel. I run a small web development company called Angel Eye, where for the past 20 plus years now, we've been really specializing in PayPal integration. So we got a bit of a unique perspective on the evolution of all the different services that PayPal has offered and been through. We've integrated pretty much every one of them one way or another over the years. So starting with basic copy and paste HTML buttons many years ago, through fast forward to WordPress, WooCommerce became real popular, and we started using that for building websites for people. Found ourselves customizing so much PayPal stuff that we created a plugin, PayPal for WooCommerce. Very original, I know. But that allowed us to basically tie everything into WooCommerce that PayPal provided. And at the time, that consisted of about 9 different payment options that would show up in there for all the different services we had to integrate and make everything available. So then that brings us to a couple years ago now with PayPal Complete Payments. And when that was introduced, we were able to take everything from those legacy APIs, wrap them into one single integration, which greatly simplified everything for us on the development side, maintenance, documentation, helping our customers not be confused about all the different options and how all that works. So that was a great big step. But then the first time as developers, when we really felt kind of one of the major benefits of that, is when Fastlane was introduced. And with following this simple upgrade guide, we were able to just go through a few steps. Instead of having to build out a whole new service, a whole new option inside of WooCommerce, another payment gateway, we just went through a few steps, added some components to the existing JavaScripts that we had in there, and within half a day, we were up and running internally in the sandbox playing with Fastlane. So that was a big kind of a relief moment where, hey, now these new features that come, we can just tie them in without all this extra overhead of making that stuff work. And then it was fun to take that, now that we had Fastlane in there, what exactly do we do with it, right? So we had read all the stuff, we'd watched the videos, we understood it ourselves, but it wasn't until I was talking with one of our longtime clients, he'd been with us for a long time, and he had always been very stern on wanting to require a login. So of course, anytime you're building a checkout system, especially inside of WooCommerce, there's an option specifically for guest checkout. You have to make this decision. Do you want to require people to log in order to buy? And of course, if they do, you can save their address info, you can save payment information. Next time they come back, they can check out a lot more quickly, all that good stuff. But when you do that, your conversion rates are going to suffer. You're going to see some abandonment. And then, of course, you have the option to turn on guest checkout. Okay, wonderful. That allows them to get through without creating an account, but now they're filling out forms, now they're filling out payment info, they can't really save it with you, so they have to do that every time. And there again, you're going to see abandonment rates and conversion rates suffer. So I wanted to show this particular client. We got on a demo call, and the first thing I mentioned, again, he was very stern on wanting login. So I said, we're going to go and we're going to turn on guest checkout. And right away, oh no, we can't do that, we can't do that. We've already talked about this. But I said, just give me a minute, let's play with this. We're in the sandbox. So we turn it on. I go to his checkout page, not logged in, of course. And as you've seen a few times today, I was able to just put in an email, get the OTP, put that in there real quick, filled in all the billing info, had the payment info filled out, hit the button to submit the order, done. On the back end of it, it looked like it was a logged in customer basically. And he was just kind of dumbfounded and looking at me kind of funny and just, how did that happen? Where did that come from? And I said, well, that's the power of PayPal. So then we kind of got into that and explained a little bit about how it works and where to go from there. And it was kind of funny, he made that statement, because I had been talking to him for so long. We had seen his conversion rates and his abandonment was kind of high. And he said, this is going to be great for our conversion rates. I said, I know, that's the whole point. So it was really fun. We were just able to get through it really quick following these guides. Awesome job on the developer site, by the way. That thing has come along. The documentation, all the resources on the developer site over the years, recently, really awesome. So that was just one example of kind of my perspective on feeling the power of PPCP and how that's helping as a developer, and then bringing Fastlane to merchants and seeing that reaction that this one in particular had was just really fun. So I would invite you to do that with your clients, with your merchants, and I think you'll see some of the same reaction as we as developers build this out. I think we're going to see a pretty major change in checkout that's going to be fun over time. So I know there's going to be more breakout sessions. I'm going to be around. I can answer some questions. Obviously, there's a lot of PayPal people here that can help answer any questions about how we're using this and how you might use it for yourself. So I hope to chat with you more. That's all I got for now. Thank you so much.
So if you have any questions, so we would like also to have them. And I have the team here also with us. So if you have any live questions, please bring them in and we can talk about those too. Go ahead.
For merchants that have like customers that have already been with them for years, and they have stored information, can a merchant transform those old tokens? Can a merchant transform old payment tokens into Fastlane tokens?
Okay, so when you talk about the tokens, like what are you exactly referring to? Is it the actual token that comes from the service? Because those are like changing every time you make a request to the server.
So merchant pre-Fastlane has stored cards. Can a merchant transform those cards into Fastlane?
Okay, so those cards are usually stored on the PayPal side. So the answer to your question, they can access them because we have not changed the storage with this. So what has been changed with the Fastlane experience, it's really the front-end experience, but the actual back-end and the same support still exists. So I don't expect any impact to those. So those merchants or those clients that they have, they will continue to be available on the other side. The only thing that they have to do, which is now the customers themselves, they have to opt in for the Fastlane experience to say that I want to register for it. Then they can get those features capability there. Yeah. Does that answer your question?
I think so.
All right.
Let me quickly add to what Sam said. So it could very well be possible that this merchant may have another processor that that may be vaulting their instruments essentially as well. And in that case, what we would have to then do is help the merchant migrate some of that using some of our vaulting capabilities and bring those vaulted financial instruments over to the PPCP rails. So we're very interested in talking to merchants who may have that set up, because it's an opportunity for us to make sure that they're set up for Fastlane through and through. So it's not only optimizing their checkout experience, but also making sure that their instrument information is brought over and set up for success using these new flows. So thank you.
I have a question. So basically, what I'm trying to understand is that suppose one customer come to a merchant A, and he is making a guest checkout, and he, like, as you can see that his funding instrument, what he is actually using or setting it up when he is doing this guest checkout, will reappear when he is coming back to the same merchant. Now, my question is that is it only for when he's coming back to the same merchant, is it available, or there is a provision that if that same customer went to a separate merchant and trying to do guest checkout, will that funding instrument will be shown in that time as well? Or like say, sometimes say if is it kind of, I sign up for one merchant and go to the other merchant, I'll see the same instrument? That's the question.
Yeah, I think what you are saying, that if I have multiple merchants and I am a consumer, I came to merchant A and I signed up for the Fastlane. Now, if I go to merchant B, will I get the same experience there? And the answer is yes, and that's the actual power of this, right? Like you know, that's why when you integrate with Fastlane, you get the power of PayPal as a product and the PayPal network. So wherever you go, you will have that access to the Fastlane if you opt in for the experience as a consumer.
Yeah, for the consumer perspective, right? Is the buyer protection going to be the same between Fastlane and going through the authentication?
So yeah, we continue to offer the same set of PayPal features and advantages to all consumers. If you are coming through Fastlane or different areas, it's the same thing. It's only that the consumer has to opt in to the feature and say that I consent to basically use the Fastlane product. Because when they consent to that service, now they're gonna start to see the experience on different merchant websites where they will just enter their email and they have their address and shipping experience and everything. The question that could come to them, which is like, okay, how did that merchant know about me? But now they know that they are using Fastlane product and they have opted into this, so it will make things more smooth for them, and it will just for the merchant, for the consumer understanding too.
Yeah, just about that, right? So would the consumer use the same PayPal customer support process too?
If you are PayPal customer, yes, you can access that. Yeah.
Hey, how are you?
You're good?
Yeah, I actually run in a company called Redix Haven, which is a data revenue platform for SaaS and e-commerce that use PayPal. So for the past, I will say 12 days, I have been helping some customers to integrate Fastlane. And by the way, guys,
thank you for doing that.
yeah. Well, I actually did it in order to, get them to upgrade the subscription. No, it's just kidding.
Okay.
No, but they had so many questions at the beginning because, the first question was, hey, my PayPal integration is working perfectly fine. Why do I need to do this? So that was my first step, like try to explain them and just tell them, hey, this is going to help you out to increase your conversion rate, et cetera, et cetera. So
yes.
In my team, we can definitely see how Fastlane is going to definitely improve the conversion rate for these merchants. But they have so many questions when it comes to the reporting side. And one of them, especially the founder of those businesses, they're really number-oriented. And the first question was like, is there a way that we can track the conversion rate after and before integrated Fastlane, and something like that? Is there something that you can build inside Redix, which is my platform, so we can track the conversion rate? This is like probably a product request, and I told them, hey, I would definitely convey this information to the people team to see if they have something in the backlog. and also receive like I have like 5 interviews with 5 founders, and they record the integration process. They gave me all the feedback, and I promised them that I was going to give them some free custom charting credits if they help me out with the feedback, so I can basically get that to PayPal. But again, I will share that information through a Slack channel so you can have
Nice.
the whole thing.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. And so our good friend here, Greg Gorman, who leads developer relations, and I know that you've connected. So please, we absolutely need every bit of that feedback.
For sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, and we love it. I agree with you. Like the idea, or to give the merchants the power to understand how the experience is impacting their sales and all of that. It absolutely a must. And yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
Hello.
Hi.
My name is Latoya. I have a new company I invented called the Cloud Chip Enterprise. I've been focusing on building the brand at the beginning, but I'm using PayPal, and I have a subscription. I'm using the PayPal subscription service.
Yeah.
And I want to offer a monthly subscription, but I want the ability to maybe if somebody wants to purchase 100 quantity of something.
Which is like you are saying about like having a random value for the subscription, or you want to control the subscription. So right now, the way it works, if I understand it correctly, so the subscription model, every time you create a new subscription, it allows you to go with one pricing. So your challenge is that you want to have multiple prices, or give the ability to to have multiple subscription on the same screen. Is that right?
Monthly subscription at the same price, but more than one subscription. So basically, if I purchase something for the company and I purchase 100 of them,
Okay.
it's $20 a month times 100. That's
Yes.
going to be $20,000 a month for me. That's
Okay.
basically what I'm trying to.
Okay. So you are looking for like paying the subscription at one time. Is that what you are looking for? So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Monthly.
Okay.
Monthly. Okay. So it's
Yeah.
your PayPal subscription is a
Yeah.
that's fine. But the quantity the quantity as far as the options, you know how you can
Yeah.
create, the options, the quantity.
Yeah, I hear you. So we don't have this feature today for sure, but yeah, it's something that a feedback that we can take in.
We can take that feedback, and also what we would love to do is we have hands-on and by appointment ask an engineer sessions. We welcome you to that. Let's actually work through your use case a little bit in addition to
PPCP sessions would
Exactly.
be helpful for you to cover that.
So I'll come find you, and we'll make sure that we get you an engineer to speak with about this. But thank you.
Okay, sure. All right. All right, I'll make it really quick. Hey, I'm Mayor Bianchi from B. Meyer. Thanks for having us here. You said something interesting about the convincing customers to enroll in Fastlane. Is there like a suite of marketing tools or a way to, if you have a vast customer base, to try to encourage them? Because I feel like that would be really helpful for the adoption of the product.
Moreira?
Yeah, absolutely. So we just launched Fastlane in the US, and this, among many other events, are part of the outreach that we're doing directly to our developers and our merchants. So one is we are going to continue to get feedback from you to make sure that the product itself gets more robust over a period of time, and then we have obviously a plan to scale the product itself globally. So those waves are coming, but certainly from the GTM, the go-to-market motion, and all of that, those campaigns have already started, and we are now reaching out not only to the technical audience, but to our merchant and our partners to make sure that they're ready to get adopted and on path to take on Fastlane. In addition, what we have realized is that the strong interest coming in from our market requires you to be obviously on the latest and the best. So there's a ready to be ready exercise that we need to do with our merchants. Ergo, sessions like these are very important, like the technical sessions, to make sure that we are giving you the right input into our ecosystem and inroads into our ecosystem so that you can be ready in order to adopt this. And the shopping season is coming soon, so we want to make sure that you're ready to actually explode in your e-commerce game. So please talk to us, send us merchants who are already using PayPal and are ready to get ready for the shopping season with us.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm Derek, and I promise that these questions are not planted by Greg, because I too am part of the PayPal Champion program, so I feel like we're dominating the questions. I apologize. I have 2 questions for you, and then an opportunity. Question number 1, in the development plans for Fastlane, is there the potential to translate this from a guest checkout to an owned subscription checkout using tokenization? So if I wanted to, as the question was asked with subscriptions over here, change them from a guest to a regular customer on the website, is that in development or a possibility?
So it's a feedback that we will get in and we will let you know. We cannot talk about like our plans that much, but we will take that feedback in and we'll process it and we'll let you know.
I appreciate that. And the second one too, the second question you might not be able to answer, but it really pertains to ACH. Is that an opportunity that potentially would be coming down the pipeline?
I saw some, okay. So did you?
Belly, do you want to?
Okay.
I'm happy to answer.
Yeah.
Hey everybody, my name is Billy Conway. I'm the head of product for Fastlane. So I'll take both of those questions. If I understood your first one, it was really around store accounts, what we call store accounts, which is, hey, Fastlane is initially designed for accelerating guest card transactions. How is this going to work in the future with my store account? And the answer is that it's going to work very soon. So that's actually something we're tackling right now. So you're taking away all of what I'm about to talk about later in the next section. But store accounts is absolutely one of them, as is other payment methods. So now we're sequencing those payment methods, and we're going to be intelligent about the way we do that. ACH, and I would even say more broadly, bank payments are things that we will need to do, particularly when we go into other markets where that's the primary way that they pay. So you're getting a little bit ahead of us, but certainly we're on top of all that.
Love it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no worries.
And the last thing is we're part of the PayPal Champion program. We're going to be upstairs in the Champion Lounge. We are part of the scavenger hunt, so come find us, all right? And win some prizes. Thanks, guys.
Nice.
So I think that is probably a good time to conclude and get us ready for the next set of sessions. So there will be a little break in the middle, and then we come back again to convene in this location for the next session, which is all around a customer implementation, and we'll walk you through that. We'll see you very soon, and thank you for the very engaged discussion. Thank you.